doing a little pedaling up to Albatross. I'm gonna go ahead and do like a walkthrough of the whole run and kind of talk to you about line choice and what's a good line, what's a bad line, what's faster, what's not, and so on, etc. I think I'm gonna decide to then run it back right after that and see if it makes any difference in time, because I want to talk to you guys a little bit about line choice, because it's actually really important. If you're having fun, it doesn't really matter, but especially when you're getting ready to race and trying to get into that mindset of racing, even though everything's gotten pushed back due to the whole virus situation. But let's go run into Albatross, pick out some lines, and I'll show you guys the features, and I won't show the simple stuff, which is just straight lining through the woods, which is a few sections of that, but let's get to it. We're gonna hop right into it. This is Albatross. The beginning of this is pretty plain and simple, straight, flat, and get on the gas. The trick here is to keep speed, because you're gonna take a nice wide turn right into this tree line. It's gonna bring you to 2 doubles. They're pretty simple, but as long as you can keep your speed, they're super easy to clear. Right after this step up, you pretty much are going to come to a pretty flat section for probably about 1/4 of a mile before you start really hitting back into the downhill stuff. But right here is where you really want to put on the gas, and make sure you don't get too wore out, because it's pretty flat and it's pretty soft, so the turns are grippy, but it can really take it out of you because you still have a lot more trail to go. There's some line choice obstacles will be up here. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at this. We're at our first section of rock garden here. This is pretty much right after the flats. You're gonna come up from a pretty much straight line down through here, through these trees. You're gonna run through here, and you're gonna run down into here. It's gonna curve left, and then it's gonna take a hard right with the switchback. So that's where it starts to get steep, is right up here. So one of the good line choices that I normally take, for some reason it tosses me into this inside line here, and it sets me up because the rock's a little bit more flat here. But if you decide to come left, it wants to shoot you out right, so it's harder for that left turn. Where if you come straight down through here, you can then stay wide for the left turn there. You can even kind of cut it in a little early, because it's not too steep of a turn. It's about a 45-degree turn from there. So I'm going to do each line, and I'll record it and see which one's faster. Let's check it out. As you saw, there's 2 pretty big differences, even though they both took about the same amount of time. I didn't have a timer set up for this situation, but benefits to the inside line are that you have a much faster of an exit speed and a better setup for the turn that is right after this rock garden. The downside to it is that it comes to have a slower start. Now the outside line, which is on the right side, happens to have a slower exit speed, but it has a faster start, and it kind of weaves around when the inside line goes straight through. So this is where it gets steep. I swing it wide here. Alright, so let's take a walk on that section. I'm over here at one of the steeper sections of the trail. It's pretty short, but the rock garden comes out from right there to that tight turn, which then I set up wide for this, I would call it a switchback, with a little bit of a berm. It's pretty nice. Dirt's pretty nice. Really let off the brakes here. You hit this jump and it's going to swing you into here. It's found an alternative line coming out of this switchback, which runs right here. You swing over to here. So normally I'm jumping right and it's giving me a really tight berm straight back down to the mountain. But if I can swing it from here, instead of going right, if I can jump up onto here, it'll set me up a lot better for that turn. If I'm able to swing it wide, I have a lot better of a turn, and I can set up to go straight forward. Normally you just swing it left, sets me up nice, and I push it into that berm right there where all the dirt is. And let's continue this run. So I'll try this jump here. Just keeping the speed. Oof. The faster you are over the rocks, the more you'll float on top.
Once again, the trail starts to flatten out here again, really making sure I drop my outside foot in these turns, really holding the speed, not having to pedal as much to really save that energy for what's coming up next, which ends up being a rock garden.
Alright, so I want to show you one of these features here. There is a short jump that I have yet to do. In a race standpoint, it would save you a ton of time. It's just a gap jump over this little gully here. Alternative line is straight through here. You're set up pretty nice. It is pretty chunky and rocky straight through here. So you just keep and carry your speed straight through. I hear if you can just get the speed right, it's plain and simple. Stay wide here. I like to use this berm. Pretty straightforward. Use that tree. Bring that front tire. Use the berm again. Ride it up high. These jumps are crucial. You can get over a lot of these crazy big rocks that want to toss you around and slow you down. So I stay high here. Another big jump. Let it loose. All right, this is the next section. Whew. This next section here is definitely one of the more technical sections. And you can definitely skip through a lot of it if you can pick the right line and keep your speed through it. But it's also really sketchy. So you're gonna be coming through here, like I said, riders right or riders left. Unless you're an XC rider and have like super narrow 700mm wide bars, you can go left. But to keep your speed, I would definitely stay right. These rocks are going to throw you over, so I stay straight up on the spine of them. And this is where it's gonna get really janky. So you have the option, if you really want to, boost this rock right here, kind of down onto this one, and ride away and boost over the next two. But I'm not that person, so I'm going to roll this. I'm going to stay on the inside here, stay high left, which should set me up perfectly for this drop right here. Now you have an optional line of going to the right, but I'm going to stay straight off. Now, if you wanted to, in a racing situation, your ideal way would be to gap it that rock there, from this rock to that rock there. Gapping this to this is a pretty big gap. It's about a 5 foot 2 bike length gap. So I normally drop it, potentially roll it, or drop it, you have then another option. I don't know if this one would be much faster. Hopping right onto that slab, which would be a pretty big gap. And this is pretty loose here. It's a very loose rock. Not a lot of it's planted. So you'd have to gap that, but then it doesn't set you up very well to go left because it's really blown out over there to the right. So the most ideal way is to potentially even gap it off left, which then again kind of defeats the purpose. If you do it right and line it up, just straight line it through here, and then you hug it between these two rocks to set you up wide to pull it through this corner, because then there's a flat section over here that you really want to set yourself up for and carry your speed through.
Fortunately, the camera angle here wasn't the best. I had to set it really low. As you can see, a lot of the rocks are kind of blocking the actual view. Hopefully I can get a better view at some other
same
point.
Section.
But you'll see it from the helmet cam here in just a second.
Roll, drop. Set it up wide. So much smoother. So where it gets steep, just stay on the inside. You're gonna finish it out. Little drop.
And that was Albatross. Super fun trail. Like I said, pretty flat at the beginning, super technical towards the end. The intensity kind of pretty much only grows as the trail gets further down to the bottom. But let's head back up to the top and let's see if I can beat the times now that I've actually taken my time to look at the trail.
Pedaling back up to the top, and I'm gonna go ahead and run Albatross and try to now that I've actually looked at all the lines, which that was one of the first times I've actually stopped and looked through all the different lines and kind of decide what's a little bit faster. So let's go ahead and run it now that I know all the lines that I want to take, what's faster, what's slower, and let's see if I can beat some Strava times. We're gonna do the whole run from top to bottom. Let's do it!
I didn't actually realize this till I got home and I was checking out the Strava times, but the trail doesn't start till after the step up, after the steep section, not when you get to the stream. All in all, I feel like after choosing the line choice, it ended up so much better in so many different ways. I rode the corners a lot more smooth and everything else felt a lot more controlled than it has in the past.
That was definitely not as smooth. where we pick that inside line. Oh yeah, set me up nice. And here's that tight switchback. I didn't hit the jump. Oof. Come on. So my hands can get a second to rest. Come on. Alright, here's one of the other sections. Keep it wide. Almost lost it.
So I definitely want to have like a part 2 to this video and have it where I have a video of me riding this trail last week when I normally just ride this trail straight down, don't really look at any lines and just have fun on it. After this week when I actually had the chance to stop and look at each feature to check what the fastest way is possible and having the times to prove it, I would definitely want to put a side-by-side comparison video up and show you guys what it's like to actually ride smoother, and to also make sure that it can show you how much of a difference having the right line can make compared to just doing it blindly and kind of just going with it.
And I cannot feel my hands after that. Holy cow.
Thanks for watching, and hopefully you guys watch the next one.